they say about the cyber zone?
Once you do a cyber zone, it's difficult to convince people that you didn't do it.
Right. It's a one-way street.
Yeah, the evidence is out there immediately. It's very quick to refute your claim.
So this is my friend Jenny.
Hello, Jenny.
Hi.
Jennifer.
Jenny.
Which do you prefer? Because I have a sister named Jennifer, and she's very particular about
Jenny from the block.
And Diablos as well.
Diablos is here. He's our guest. Yeah. Guest starring Diablos.
I like him.
I don't know what Diablos would have to say. Like if you asked him a couple questions. Like
I know that Diablos is like a Spanish exclamation.
It's true.
It would have to do with the laws of gravity, I'm sure. He's a scientist.
That's true. Do you think... Hold on a second. Here's the thing about Diablos.
What?
He's the master of gravity, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's like a demon god.
Do you think he has a large sway over an audience because his words are weighted?
Does he have a mass?
He's got a nice one back there. Really bad.
I like him.
Mm-hmm.
He's falling apart, by the way.
He is, like, emotionally.
Like, look at
his dad, like,
abandoned him.
asphyxiated himself on an airplane. It was weird.
Oh.
And his, yeah. And his daughter.
Who, Diablos has a kid?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Diablette.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Is that like triplets?
Yeah, there's 3 of them.
Does he have a schmeckle?
Like, is that Jewish?
Yeah.
Then yes. Oh,
he's Jewish.
Diablos?
Yeah.
He has a schmeckle.
I think all because he's sort of demonic, right?
Yeah. He's extremely demonic, I think.
Don't all angels and demons in Judeo-Christian mythology sort of have that Judaism background? They're all named things like Raphael and Samuel and Michael and very Hebrew names.
Yeah.
So I would assume that Diablos is Jewish.
Yeah.
They all come from Abraham or something like that.
Yeah, this is Abraham's firstborn. Is Diablos? He locked him in a lamp.
Yeah, magical lamp.
Mm-hmm. So I remember the first time when I was playing through Final Fantasy VIII and I got Diablos because I love that game. I love it to death. And you get your Ifrit summoned because Guardian Forces, the summons are part of they're so integral, right? You get your Shiva and you get your Ifrit, and then you're going through it a couple, and then you finally you awaken Diablos from the lamp, and you're like, oh my god, like this thing is so cool, right? So you finally kill him and you beat him, and he goes, my power is yours to command. Mm-hmm. Oh shit! Like this thing is just like this demon from hell who just smashes you with gravity. And so I remember getting him, equipping him to Squall or whatever, walking out into the field, and Diablos is level 1 because that's how the game works, and the GFs level up. And I go out and I remember seeing like some sort of caterpillar in like the Balam foothills or whatever, and Diablos just like comes out and bats are flying out, and like I'm just praying to the devil and sorcerers and monsters, and like I feel like Jesus leaving my room because he's so upset at what's happening on my TV that like Diablos grabs this gravity sphere out of the air and he slams it right into the ground just like this. And just crush. And I mean, symbols are being drawn all over the ground, and like the devils are chanting, and then he backflips and then turns into a swarm of bats and disappears. I was like, oh my god! And then it did like 13 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Now I didn't understand, the way that he was working with the game, and then of course as you level him up, it's a percentage, which I don't remember how I found that. I don't know if I read it or if I deduced it eventually, but once I understood how he worked and how useful he was at level 100. I was in love.
Yeah. What do you think Sid was doing with him and that lamp? Just rubbing it?
Is Headmaster Sid?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably just like, I think what Sid would do is he would unbutton his shirt up to 2 buttons, put the lamp inside, rub it against one nipple, open up the other side of the shirt and push it against the other nipple.
Okay, so didn't Robin Williams play the guy in Aladdin with the magical lamp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like Robin Williams.
Sid does look a lot like Robin Williams.
So
if they were to make a Final Fantasy VIII movie, Williams
starring the ghost of Robin Williams.
Ghost of Robin Williams, exactly.
And his thing would have been Diablos, I'm sure, in the lamp.
Yeah.
I think there's a connection. Like the Japanese saw Aladdin, said, "Look, Robin Williams. Okay, well we have a magical lamp. Let's put Robin Williams in Final Fantasy VIII as Sid, and give him a vest or whatever he's wearing."
That sounds very likely.
Yeah, I'm on board with that theory.
It's completely like, and we embellish a lot of stuff on the show and we exaggerate all over the place. But that is actually one of the more grounded things that's ever been said
about Final Fantasy.
about yeah. So I cannot dismiss that idea.
My first experience with Diablos was dying a lot to him.
No,
But the TV that I had when I was in high school was this, like, it was a TV that my mom bought at a grocery store. Like, it was a birthday present, but it was, not a high quality television.
Mm-hmm.
So it had mono sound, and anytime the PlayStation 1 did any sort of like rumbling noise, it would just sound like my screen was cracking from the inside. So Diablos would come out and he'd get his hand stuck in the goo ball and like start to slowly tear it down, and my TV would just be going.
Donald Duck was trapped inside. It's funny because you making that noise was actually more accurate as a Donald Duck noise than when I try to do Donald Duck voice.
I can't do a Donald Duck voice.
You just did one that was better than mine by default.
Okay, so just do your best impression of Diablos on a crappy CRT.
that's
He looks like bacon, first of all.
He does. He has a very bacon-esque theme. He looks
Yeah.
delicious.
He's very delicious.
You can see all like the meaty parts of his wings.
What's cool
And that
is
wing.
his middle wing. His feet look like he's kind of got high heels.
He does.
Because he's got like a little like hoof in the back that makes him taller.
I don't like how floppy his legs are.
Well, mine
one's broken.
the joint broke, so I had to put like a little thing in there, and so his leg is dumb.
He can fly. It's okay.
He can, yeah. So he didn't really need to worry, but
He's injured.
if he has to land, that's kind of it sucks.
What does he do when he's injured? He like crouches, kind of. He's
He puts his hand on the ground and
he's
like just starts throwing up gravity.
Big
Yeah.
one. Like that.
What if when they discovered recently that there were gravity waves, like there's like the Einstein theory that just got proven like a week ago,
Yeah.
and like they just took a screenshot of it and a life shot, a camera photo. Jesus. Okay. Well, anyway, and it was like Diablos just like pounding his wiener really hard, and it was just like these gravity waves were coming out. So I think that's probably what happened. But I think how Einstein discovered it was one day like he was masturbating himself. This ties into like Upright Citizens Brigade.
Yeah.
And
You've got to stop masturbating.
just too many good memories. And, he was having a seizure while he was in the middle of masturbating, and then he had this vision, and he felt Diablo's presence inside him. So as he was like continuing to seize, and he kept like going and going and going, the waves, like he saw them rippling out, and he goes, "That must be gravity because Diablos." And then he went down, and everybody was like, "That's such bullshit, dude. Whatever. You'll never understand anything." And then like a week ago, boom, Diablos.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. So, but I'm proud of Diablos and Einstein.
Yeah, they work well together.
They do.
The great vaudeville duo.
Well, Diablos has a
and
steady
Einstein.
hand, and that counters Einstein, who's like constantly like,
Yeah.
So. How are you, Radon?
Oh, I'm doing well. How are you?
Not so bad. Went to the park today, had a pop. Sorry we started a little bit late. I Google changed everything, and I had to like look at how to do it like an old man.
Yeah, I didn't wake up until 5 p.m. today, so
Dang, why so late?
I don't know if I've ever told you this. I have like a sleeping issue where I would be a very functional human being if the Earth took 26 hours to rotate instead of 24. So I'm always just sort of like drifting off around the day when I sleep.
I see.
And my intention this morning was to stay up all day and then just go to sleep early and correct it. But then I got really grumpy about, I think Street Fighter V was part of it. And I don't really know what else was making me grumpy, but I was just basically just so angry / bored that I went to bed.
Been there.
So angry you went to sleep?
Hangry.
Yeah.
It's
Angry
like hungry, angry, and tired,
and horny.
I guess.
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
nothing is being fulfilled, so your body's like done.
Yeah.
Literally nothing. You poop is stuck in you. You have like an excess buildup of saliva.
Yeah. It's just dribbling out.
Yeah.
Like he's hangry, horny,
Oh yeah.
tired.
Diablos. Well, he was in a lamp, and there's no food except for
And
gravity.
There's not look like there's a lot of room though in that black area.
It's just boring though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He has room. He can flex, but like or stretch. But
He's not-
You can do some like free weights.
yeah, exactly. Well, how does Diablos use weights? Because like he has a gravity advantage.
Where he controls gravity.
So does he just like leave it
So
on?
he's like Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z when he's training. It's like you can up the gravity to make yourself
That's
work
just like
harder.
like going. I could go to Jupiter.
Look at these wings.
That's true. They're very nice. They're very bacon flavored.
They look like bacon.
They do bacon strips.
I don't like that there's dog food that looks appetizing to humans. Like sausages,
Yeah, it seems
I
like
know
you're
they don't taste good, but damn, they look delicious.
to look good. And I'm sure if you smell it, you'd be like, well, that smells like a meat that I'm familiar with. It might be okay, but you're not supposed to do that.
No.
Mm-mm.
It's messed up that we have different kinds of food for different kinds of things.
Different kinds of dogs.
Dogs, fish, dogfish,
Mm.
fish dogs.
I had like
Pizza
a pet
women.
snail, like in a fish tank.
No.
The thing.
A pet snail,
But you can feed them Tums, and it's actually good for them because of calcium.
and it stops their tummy from hurting.
Probably.
Yeah. After you give them all that pizza and they need a little relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, because too much pizza is bad for a snail.
Yeah.
Like only like one slice is okay.
What about
Yeah.
that snail on SpongeBob? That thing eats pizza.
I do not know, unfortunately.
It's a thing.
I believe you. I believe you. I know next to nothing about SpongeBob. Is my only thing.
The snail's name is Gary.
Gary the snail.
And he eats pizza, right?
I think he eats pizza. He meows. I know he meows.
Meows and he eats pizza.
I know 3 things about SpongeBob.
He lives in a pineapple under the sea.
Okay, guys, I know 4. I know SpongeBob himself, like personally. I know the star, Patrick, right?
Yeah.
Squidward,
Mm-hmm.
and then a squirrel, I think.
Yeah, Sandy.
That's all I know.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't watched that since like 5th grade. But yeah.
Yeah. So I don't
There's
know.
a snail though.
I'm going to tell you about why I didn't get into SpongeBob. It's because I remember when I saw it, like, I don't know if I ever watched a full episode, but I remember seeing it and thinking, this is a lot like Ren and Stimpy, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
And so, on principle, I did not watch SpongeBob. I don't know. It might be good. but-
I had kind of a similar experience because a lot of the writers and the creator of SpongeBob, they're all Rocko's Modern Life alumnus. Alumni. Alumnus is singular.
Yeah. Well,
And that's one of my favorite shows of all time. I love Rocko's Modern Life.
Mhm.
But it's this sort of like I felt my own age when SpongeBob came out because it was so manic
Mhm.
and so like just high energy, just pop, 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 pop. That by the time it came out, I was like, this is like grating to me. It's
Yeah.
too loud and too fast, and I feel
Exactly.
old.
Knocking my dentures out when the speakers are on. That's essentially how I felt as well. We're dating ourselves. How old are you?
24.
Like
I'm
40
about to turn into
45?
25.
46. You don't look 46. You look like you're 25.
Yeah, I'm like 50.
You don't
I'm a
look.
vampire.
You look like a 25-year-old, not a
I'm a
50-year-old.
vampire.
Okay, so you're a young vampire.
I'm the one that probably has a bunch of STDs.
Probably.
Have you seen True Blood?
I have. So wait, hold on. Can vampires retain STDs? Because it seems like they have some sort of like,
Blood
immortality
and-
advantage that would like.
What about AIDS? Because they are really in the blood.
I don't think so because vampires are technically dead, right?
Well,
Yeah,
They're not alive. They're either dead or undead.
should not like affect them. It shouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
about video games, isn't it? Huh?
Well, I mean, the podcast is very freeform.
Oh,
We can
okay.
talk about whatever. Yeah.
I was like, I'm
Yeah.
getting off topic here, huh?
No, you're probably more on topic than we normally are by talking about vampire AIDS. I did watch True Blood though. I watched most of it. I missed like the last season. Yeah. Did you ever watch True Blood?
No.
I enjoyed it. There was a vampire named Bill, which is really silly because that's just Bill.
Right. Bill the vampire.
Season he looked a lot like Paul Rudd. I mean, he kind of still does, but like he looked more so like him. And so every time I saw him, I just laughed because it didn't look like an intimidating vampire. It just looked like a comedy, star.
I love Paul Rudd.
I also love Paul Rudd.
He's just so endearing.
Handsome.
I would kiss Paul Rudd.
Ryan Quanten, he plays the brother
Oh,
of True
yeah.
Blood. He's really nice. He's
He seems-
Australian.
Australian, that's right.
He's really nice.
Yep, Ryan Quanten.
If that's
He's
how you say
Jason
it.
Jason Stackhouse.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the brother, the hot one.
He is pretty good looking dude. Yeah, Paul Rudd.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Rudd.
Which one was Bill, the white guy?
Bill was like the
The
main,
main
like,
guy. Yeah,
first
he
vampire.
was hot. But one scene, I only watched like 2 seasons of it. Is when he goes to like the headquarters of the bad vampires, right?
Yeah.
Something, but it's like all blue lighting outside in a parking lot or something.
Oh, it's like a strip club inside.
Something like
Yeah.
that. And then he's standing outside getting judged or something, and it's backlit, right? All behind him.
Mhm.
And it's an extreme close up on him, and his ear is showing, and on his ear is like a really long hair, and you can see it because it's backlit, and it irked me really bad. So
something you should know about Jenny here is that's her job, is to like see these things because she works in film. She works
Okay.
in Mexico, like doing all kinds of like film stuff, and details do not go unnoticed with this girl right here. That's like her job essentially, is to see and maintain consistency
anyway,
and
the ear
details.
hair.
Ear hair.
Gross.
Woo.
Yeah.
Because he's
Was
really
it coming
hot.
like from his earlobe or like from inside of his ear?
No, from like his earlobe. But you can see it's really bad because it's backlit. Like all guys get it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
No, that's fine. I figured that was gonna happen, but like I don't know. I'll fix it.
I broke him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You just put him in a wheelchair.
That's true. He needs one. He's leg now.
Sorry, Diablo.
Yeah, he'll live.
You can super glue.
Yeah, I will one day. Today's not that day.
I'll fix him.
I know one thing I wanted to talk to with you about.
Yeah.
I loved. Okay, so some of my favorite articles on the planet are like the one that I sent you about Adam's Family, Fester's Quest.
Yeah.
I am so fascinated with finding out NES game history straight from the people who like localized and brought them to life and worked on design documents, and the take on Japanese people not understanding the Addams Family was so funny to me.
Yeah.
Because I imagine them struggling because it's not their realm of humor. I'm sure one or two Japanese people are like, oh, that's American, that's funny, but they have a very different styling. And Addams Family is a very macabre, like dry.
Addams Family is borderline not funny.
Yeah,
Like it's funny because they are different than other people. The things they like are different than other people.
here's what I want to know. I don't know if you have the answers to this. Are they immortal? Because I feel that they do things that would kill them, but they don't die, like a toaster in the bathtub, or like Wednesday Addams electrocuting her brother to death, or numerous other things.
I don't think they're immortal because in that movie, didn't she go to camp or something and almost drown or something like that?
She didn't almost drown. She they turned her into like Pocahontas. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a very macabre sense of humor, like making fun of how children are reared usually.
Maybe.
Very conservatively.
But I wonder because like they don't seem to die. Like death doesn't scare them. Maybe that's just the shtick, is that like they don't see death the way people do normally.
Yeah, they
So
like
if people die, it's merely like a condition or a happening. Like it's literally like, somebody died, oh, there's no more pizza in the fridge. Like they're the same thing.
Yeah. I don't think they're immortal, but I do want to, and I'm going to do a little digging here. If you type "Are the Addams Family" into Google, the top 4 results are the Addams Family monsters, are the Addams Family immortal, are the Addams Family undead, and are the Addams Family human?
We're not the first to wonder this.
What was
No.
that name? The Thing or something
So
like that?
Uncle Fester, but they had
Fester,
they had
the
cousin
hairy-
It, and they had a
Thing.
hand, which was Thing.
Okay, so Fester is the hairy one and It is the hand. I
If
haven't
they-
watched it since I was a kid.
There has to be some sort of magic going on, because an animated hand, like,
I don't judge.
I don't either, and that's fine. But like, something has to exist in that universe that's allowing this, and for them, are you sure they're not immortal? Because there has to be like some connection with them.
Okay, well, you're familiar with the movies, right?
Very.
Okay, so I don't think they're immortal, but some person on Reddit is mentioning the part where they they wake the dead. You remember that scene where they're like, oh, we have to wake the dead.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying that it's waking the it's not really waking the dead, it's waking the grumpy yet fun old relatives who don't really want to be alive anymore. That's why everyone can go to the family parties.
Oh, actually, that makes sense. So like they just resurrect them, quote unquote. Wake them from slumber. It's like, hey, come on, we got something to do. Oh, fine. They've lived for so long, they just want to be left alone.
And then someone asks, well, then what the hell happened to Pubertus? And
is that his full name?
I think so, yeah. That guy just wrote Pubertus. I don't know. He was Pubert, right?
It was Pubert in the movie.
Okay. Well, and then someone responds, there's a throwaway line in Addams Family Reunion that suggests that Pugsley ate him. So if he's immortal, he's just alive in Pugsley's poop.
Pugsley's stomach.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe.
Can we go on Omegle? Do you know what Omegle is?
I do know what Omegle is. We won't do it on the stick cam.
But that would be really fun.
Well, we can do it later. Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
I really like Omegle.
I do too.
Just was introduced to it. It's pretty fucking fun.
It's a fascinating
Can I
concept.
curse?
Yeah, we talk about like
I'm a potty mouth.
ape periods.
Yeah. We had a whole show about that, actually.
Yeah, ape period flavored Doritos.
Ew.
Yeah, when you
Well, you don't know. Do you know how that tastes?
What if they're amazing? What if they taste like a creamy?
Like Kool-Aid Jello.
Social security card just laid out.
Why is mine?
Yeah, is that a real one?
Yeah, that's my actual Social Security card. Why is it just laid out in my own house in a room?
Yeah, just like right there.
In case I just. It's nice to look at.
Okay, where do you have your Social Security card, Michael?
In my wallet, along with the original copy of my birth certificate, because I'm irresponsible.
Yeah, this is what happens when you get to the our age.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Wake up in the morning and call Medicare to make sure that you're still okay.
Yeah, do I have type B now or type C? What's going on?
You gotta make sure.
It's like the thief comes in here and they're like, how many figures should I steal? Oh, wait, here's a Social Security card.
Yeah, exactly.
Just it. They're never going to see that. There's too much stuff that looks valuable.
That's also true. Yeah.
Shiny.
This is more like a test of will and perception. Because if somebody walked in and actually sees that, I'll be impressed.
I saw it.
Well, that's because that's your job.
So I see a lot of things in here.
There's one thing.
Did you see how I perched Diablos?
Yeah, well, he's just sort of sitting down.
On his
He
tail.
looks uncomfortable. Okay, so Addams Family, Fester's Quest.
Yeah.
What did you think of that article? Because to sum it up, Addams Family was not based on the Fester's Quest specifically was not based on the Blaster Master engine.
Right.
There's a lot in common because it was the same team who programmed it, but it was not like I don't think they just copy pasted. But obviously a lot of influence was drawn from that. And as I was thinking about the Japanese development, not exactly understanding the Addams Family, I was thinking about like Uncle Fester fighting a demon, a Blaster Master style boss, and that there are certain elements of the game that feel like this is where the Japanese control came in, and it just sort of overlapped with the American proposal of Addams Family IP.
Mm-hmm.
Why does Fester fight other demons? I guess they're aliens, aren't they?
They're aliens, yeah.
Okay, that's right. So, I mean, I guess it still kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it seems like it'd be a fun IP to work with. But Ryan, I think was his name? Robert?
Richard?
I think it was an R. I don't know. Anyway, one of the guys who was heavily in charge of the game, he got called out with the question, so why is there no save feature? Why is there no password system?
Yeah.
Or they're not
This
checked.
was very interesting to me.
Yeah. And he was like, well, so, we designed the game, and we, of course, had all the resources to go wherever we wanted. We could do anything. We could warp any area at any time with any weapon, so it was no problem for us. And by the time the final game got submitted, it didn't occur to him that the design document just didn't contain that, request.
Yeah.
So everybody who programmed it was like, okay, like, there's your game. That's our job is you put it down, we'll make it. And so that just didn't exist for them. Nothing.
Do what they're told.
And then he got reamed by his bosses for it, too.
Yeah. Yeah, he said he had a really interesting learning experience with that whole game. And it makes me happy that he actually felt like he took away a lot despite all the follies.
Yeah.
It was a very positive experience for him to just learn the ropes. Because at the time, I guess they didn't have much to work with. They were just sort of doing what they thought they were supposed to do and hoping that it worked. And that's kind of exciting.
It's curious to me that they got that license in the first place. I mean, it's a very Sunsoft sort of thing, but it predates the movie.
Yes.
And he mentioned that in the article, that it was before the movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were just like, well, what can we make a video game off of? And they pulled the Addams Family.
Who had the license for that? Like, Universal Pictures, or like what studio had that? I want to know what they were doing with. I guess they were probably like a year or two prepping for the Addams Family movies. But it's funny.
Yeah, they had to be in production at that point. So whoever made the movie probably had at least film rights. They probably didn't have movie rights. If anything, I would bet it would be the Addams estate, Charles Addams' family.
True. Do you like the Addams Family show?
I used to watch it when I was a kid.
Did you ever fantasize about John Aston?
I liked the relationship between Morticia and what's her husband's name?
Gomez.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was very romantic.
It is. They're a good
He's
couple.
whipped. I like that.
Oh, he loves it, and he loves every minute of it.
I like the hand thing that they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting show. It's weird because it is sort of like this satirical kind of thing, but like in a very subtle way to where, it's like not exactly like funny. And it's almost kind of like watching like Spinal Tap. Spinal Tap I love more than many movies. But like in a sense, like if you're not really aware, you might just look at it and go, why is that happening?
Yeah.
Why would he say that to her?
I would posit that the Addams Family is one of the most functional, healthy, and loving families in all of fiction.
Yeah.
Because all of the conflict in that show mostly derives from Addams Family versus how the world perceives them.
Mm-hmm.
But as a family unit, just sort of self-contained, they're completely happy living together and loving each other.
They take care of each other.
They're very European.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that show, didn't they live in a house that was like on a train track or something like that? That they wanted the government or the town wanted to get rid of them because they wanted to clear out that area. I remember an episode about that.
You might be right. I don't remember the show nearly well enough.
That sounds more like the Munsters to me.
They're kind of related to them.
There's a very similar.
Yeah.
It was like if the Addams Family was an actual sitcom.
See, that's what they should have done, the Munsters instead of the Addams Family for that game, because I think the Japanese would have understood. Like, it's a family of monsters living in the human world.
Yeah.
Okay, so John finally let me play.
Oh, Final Fantasy 15.
The demo.
Yes.
And I said, "Oh, what's that show with the bicycle gang? The motorcycle gang."
You said Bicycle Gang first, though. I knew you were talking about it. Yeah.
And Sons of Anarchy. I was like, "Oh my god."
Oh, I was thinking like Chips.
Oh, yes, Eric Estrada.
Look at these little Japanese emo boys. They're like the bastard children of the men from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, so if Ron Perlman had sex with like Lucy Liu, and then like they had like a kid, and Ron Perlman would have upset and just released him into like some sort of like fantastical forest, right, to go kill and hunt monsters. And like 3 other like gang bicycle members had the same thing happen to them.
Well, it's definitely like the gayest Final Fantasy rendition yet.
4 men just sort of.
Well, I was like, are there no chicks in this? As soon as we turn around, they're just like in a tent together. You know,
Mm-hmm. They're not naked.
I was digging it, but I was like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
like this is it?
Mm-hmm.
And they're all wearing like leather.
All of them do wear a lot of black leather.
They're
Yeah.
definitely not equipped to be in whatever forest that they're in. Okay, and then did you notice when you have to crawl through the cave, you do this like shimmy,
Mhm.
but then they keep on using that same shimmy everywhere throughout the demo.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they animated it once and just threw it in wherever they
Hey,
could.
you got a resource, go ahead and capitalize on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I was doing.
So who do you think would win if Gomez Adams had to fight a behemoth?
Gomez.
Because he's immortal.
Where show me a situation in Gomez Adams' life where he is not like in control.
When he's eating tricks and watching Sally Jesse Raphael because he lives in a motel on the side of the road because he's been kicked out of his house by Tully.
Yeah, okay. Well, that just means if the behemoth fights him in his house, where does this fight take place?
The basement.
They got a pretty big house, yeah, in the basement.
If it is within the Adams property, I think Gomez Adams wins.
Yeah, he has home field advantage because the things happen on that property. Like he has a train that he drives around furiously, and then it turns out there's people inside it that die.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite scenes, though, is him like going crazy with his trains and like him just looking down inside like the train while some passenger is like looking out of the window off his newspaper, and Gomez is just like has this maniacal big cigar and like that sort of like casino visor on.
Yeah.
I love it so much. Those movies are phenomenal, by the way. Addams Family has I would say overall a better run with games than like the James Bond franchise.
I'm counting 2 good ones on each side.
Okay. Addams Family for Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
You say yes. Pugsley Scavenger Hunt. Because it had the exact same gameplay engine. It wasn't as appealing.
Yeah, well, if you're saying for NES, like that's the same game. Those are the same game.
That's true, but then we'll count. So let's see. I guess it's 2 good Addams Family games.
And I'm actually counting Fester's Quest in this list.
Okay, Fester's Quest. Right, okay. Yes.
Because and Fester's Quest drives me insane, and I don't ever want to play it again. God, please don't ever make me play it again. But it's got a lot of technical polish, and I think it's one of those games that is fun to play, not to beat.
Sure.
So I'm counting those 2 for Addams Family.
Okay.
And then on the James Bond side, I mean, you could make the argument for GoldenEye Reloaded or Rogue Agent or whatever it was, but I'm only counting the original GoldenEye and the Game Boy game, James Bond 007.
Which is fun. There wasn't much to it, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Not a bad game at all. It was simple. It definitely was trying to capitalize on just James Bond, because I think it was just 007 is what it was called.
Yeah, it was just James Bond 007, and it was it was made by Sapphire, and I think published by Rare. I think it was before they did GoldenEye, but they had the rights maybe. And it's just it's a weird little Zelda clone starring James Bond.
Yeah, it's almost more like Spiritual Warfare for the Nintendo.
Yeah.
You ever played Spiritual Warfare? It's a game that plays like the original Zelda, except you play as like some dude in a city, and it's one of those like Bible games. Okay. And so you have to go collect the fruits of the spirit, but they're like various weapons. So like apples, you just like throw across the screen, and then there's pears that like bounce, and then there's like pineapples, I think are grenades. I'm not sure. I could just be thinking of just pineapple grenades. But you get to go get Samson's like the jawbone of a donkey that he used to kill all the Philistines, and you get that. It works like a boomerang. You throw it across the screen, and people just die. Well, they do die because you knock them over and like their spirits leave their body.
Do they die in the biblical
Like
sense?
they pray. Do they, or do they just pray?
I don't. They probably just pray.
Okay, they might just like get on their hands and knees and pray. Like you've saved them. You've converted them to Christianity by hitting them with animal.
With a donkey bone.
Yeah. So, I think that's what it is if you attack your opponents enough, like they convert to your religion and believe.
Did you know that burrito means little donkey?
That's really cute, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it holds a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Burrito.
Yep, I want one right now.
Means donkey, little donkey.
It makes sense.
Also, Jenny
From the block
means donkey or mule or something.
in Russian.
No,
Oh, in
This is what it means.
Croatian.
no, just in English.
In English.
Jenny means like donkey. Yeah. Little Jenny. Have you never heard that?
I've never heard that.
All right.
Oh wait, I thought that's isn't that like a tiny kangaroo?
No.
That's a Joey.
No. It's a donkey. Trust me.
You're right. It is a female donkey is a Jenny.
Like a donkey or a mule or something is a name for it.
My
And
name?
a male donkey is a jack.
A Jack and a Jenny.
But burrito is a little donkey in Spanish.
John is a toilet.
Yeah.
Mike is one of these.
Is a microphone.
Yeah.
Michaelophone.
A Michaelophone.
Megalophone.
Megalomania.
I love megalomanias. Maniacs.
Were they mice or were they cats?
Who?
The little, what were those? I thought they called them mega Animaniacs.
Oh, they were Warner Brothers and a sister.
But
They
they
were-
look
they-
like mice or cats.
They were not. They were just sort of like.
They are a nondescript 1920s cartoon animal.
Yeah, basically they were
They
Final
look like a
Fantasy
cat.
creatures.
Or a mouse.
Yeah, they had like rodent.
And they lived
Type.
in the watchtower, the water tower or something.
The Warner movie lot.
Yeah.
Lock us in the
The
tower whenever we get
Animaniac
caught.
sounds like megalomania.
We break loose and then vamoose, and now you know the plot. We're
Yeah.
Animaniacs. That is cute while Yakko yaks.
But what
Wacko
is it?
packs away the snacks while Bill Clinton plays the sax.
What are they though?
Animaniacs.
Yeah, but what are they?
Well, they're
What
Animaniacs.
search? What? Are you sure they're male and female? What
Yeah,
happens if they're aliens?
they might be. But Dot had a vagina for sure. I've seen the internet.
Yeah, it's proven.
Yeah, it's proven. I saw her Tinder profile and it had a picture of her vagina. So
I think they have rules against that.
against vaginas?
That's sexist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see a lot of schmeckle on Omegle.
Oh, Schmeckle.
You guys still not caught on what that is?
Pew.
You guys definitely aren't Jewish.
No, I'm well. I know what a Schmeckle is. It's a small coin.
That's a shekel.
That's right.
A schmeckle is like a pube that is a perfect circle. Like there's no actual beginning or end, but it's still a pubic hair
A
affixed
schmeckle
somehow.
you can circumcise, if that gives you any hint.
Oh.
So it's a small dog.
Uh-huh. It has a schmeckle.
You can circumcise small dogs.
Yeah.
You don't have to circumcise schmeckle.
You can take
But
you
you
can
probably
take,
You take them by the neck and you just like pull.
yeah, like a Shar-Pei. That's what happens.
Anyway, if you go on Omegle, if you've ever done it, it's like 50% chance you're gonna see a schmeckle. But then
Yeah, just like right away. It's like connecting and it's like boom, there it is.
it's like show me your hands is my my catchphrase.
That reminds me of a movie I watched like a couple nights ago called The Den, and it was a horror movie on Netflix, and it was like about this woman who used this program called The Den, which is basically Omegle, and she would log online and just like talk to people. It was like the social experiment that she was doing for like a month, and she was only talking to people on this thing, and then like one day like somebody logs on and like they start like trying to communicate with her, and then like it starts killing her boyfriend and her family, and it was this whole like it was a very good movie, but
It could happen.
yeah, like they hacked into her computer and like they could see her in her living room and find out where her friends were,
Yeah.
and it was this whole
It could happen.
Have you there's a search engine and I can't think of the name of it now. I don't remember if I told you this or not, but there's a search engine that you can like look at live screenshots of any unprotected webcam that's like not behind a firewall.
I
That's awesome.
I feel that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
It could. It,
Well, you
yeah,
know how you have glasses on.
I do.
The government, they could hack into your webcam and then look at your glasses and see anything that you're looking at.
You can see my
Or-
social security number.
Yeah, they definitely could. Or like say you're standing in front of a window,
Okay.
they could get a telephoto lens, take a picture of you, zoom in on your glasses and see what
And
you
see your ear hair.
They can see the ear hair glistening in the light.
Yeah, if you're backlit
Yeah.
and you're a vampire.
And I'm a vampire. They could see my ageless body.
Yeah. Like Edward Snowden, whatever, he
Yeah.
took off his glasses in that documentary because he's like, they could look at what I'm looking at, even if it's not facing him.
I don't disbelieve this. I think it's a little fantastical and probably not going to happen, but I don't
Well, that's
discount.
you.
Yeah. I'm not
Definitely
worried.
to Edward Snowden.
To Snowden for sure. He also has probably a lot more information than I do besides Rhythm Heaven on the Game Boy in Japanese.
Yeah. He would be a fun guy to go on Omegle with.
That's true. You could talk about
Look, it's Edward Snowden.
mushrooms together. Get it, fungi?
Eh.
Yes.
I'm going to be a good dad.
Yeah.
Okay. We have important business to discuss.
Yeah.
Street Fighter 5.
Yep.
It has I was gonna say it has arcade mode, but it just totally doesn't. How are you liking it so far?
So I need to put in a disclaimer, and I'm sure you're not surprised by this.
Yeah.
I think it is incredibly fun.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm very unhappy with it.
Sure.
I don't think it's right that we're getting into this era of games as a service, which is a great idea,
Mhm.
but that it's as by proxy acceptable that a game is not really ready
Mm-hmm.
at the point at which consumers can purchase and use it.
Yeah. It's like you're buying like a model car kit, but you're trying to get the model car. But they don't
Yeah.
have all the pieces even.
Right. It's like, oh, everything's in the box, but the wheels are coming in a month.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting for sure. And we had like a very intricate discussion on the community page today with a lot of people giving a lot of input. Some a little excited and some a little bit more subdued, and that's totally cool. Because Capcom was very, very clear about what they were doing with this whole project. So I wanted to take the time to propose to people: is it worthwhile to acknowledge that you put some responsibility for purchasing a game at full price, knowing, in this particular example, we'll say, knowing that it's going to be limited overall for the time being, And I mean, I knew that. I took the risk, and I knew it was not going to be like this very fleshed out. It's not. It is very much just like it's functional. It's a game that merely serves a single purpose right now, and that's not what a game should be. That is simply not what a game of that caliber, what they're trying to promote, should be. But it's an interesting decision because how much responsibility does the consumer bear, and how much does the producer bear? And Capcom, I think they've been forthright with all the information surrounding the release of the game.
Yeah.
At the same time, like, you can't assume that everybody knows exactly. Some guy just goes, "Oh, cool, Street Fighter 5's out. I'm going to buy that." Goes home, and I think that's sort of like a limited case, but it's widespread enough to where there will be people who don't know that.
Yeah, I'm curious how many like first week returns of physical copies there are for Street Fighter 5.
That's a good question. Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like, if you don't know, if you followed the game during development and you saw Capcom's blog posts and watched their streams with Combo Fiend and everything, like, you would know, yes, the game you were getting is this sort of skeleton, and by next month it'll have a lot more to it, and then by the summer it'll feel like a full game.
Mm-hmm.
But in its current state, like, the only reason that I actually ended up picking it up on day one is because I got a coupon for it. I got 25% off.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, okay, I'm gonna take that. Like, I know that I'm not gonna get all this stuff for a long time, but that's a good deal, and I'm willing to, like, oh no, I've got this. Like, the worst case scenario is that you have a game that works okay, that will work great.
Yeah. It's an interesting kind of investment. It's almost like you're actually buying the beta product and getting the full release later.
Yeah, it very much feels like that.
Yeah, and as long as people understand that, that's not a bad way to go. But you are going to have cases where people do not, understand or see that, and it's one of those.
Because if this was a single player game with the same kind of release strategy, it would tank. People would be furious.
Absolutely, because the core fundamental, as everybody knows, is 1 versus 1 fighting. Friend versus friend, online ranked matches, casual, and that exists. And right now, of course, there's still server issues sort of like bubbling. But yeah, without that, there's no hope, because at least like the core of what you're releasing to prep people does exist. But yeah, as a single player game, you simply could not do that. Not in any way. So I was going to ask you something pertaining to this. And I can't remember exactly what it was. We'll keep talking.
I worry that the game is not complex enough, and that's sort of an old school fighter mentality. Because I see a lot of reviewers from different gaming media and everything saying like, "Oh, it's great. It's so pure. It's all just about decision making and not about who's got the muscle memory for a giant 40-hit combo," which is true. But at the same time, like, you can kind of make the same argument for tic-tac-toe or something along those lines, where there's your move set is very limited. You have 9 options of where to put your X, and then you respond to the O to put your next X. Obviously, Street Fighter 5 is a lot more complicated than that, but I playing it, I feel like there just might not be enough meat on it to be long-term sustainable without them sort of tweaking some of the core mechanics.
Okay. What kind of tweaks would you want to see implemented if you were to say to enhance it like just that much more?
The first thing that I would really like to see is the ability for any character to use any other character's V skill.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I would just like to have a menu on the character select screen where you pick your V skill. Do you want to be able to backdash? Do you want to be able to parry? Do you want to be able to, whatever?
Okay. And V skill is the one you get by pressing both mediums.
That's correct.
Okay. I also agree with that because my favorite is Zangief's super armor.
Yeah.
And I want every character just to flex super hard, turn red, and then walk forward slowly, just eating up all the damage. Because that's my favorite thing in that game.
I think that I don't really see any character where that couldn't be an option, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one thing that I would like to see, just like right off the bat.
Okay. Do you feel that if that were to be implemented, like certain characters could be more potent to it than others? Like a fast character could still like tank the hits, but like have less durability.
Yeah.
Where somebody like Zangief or Birdie could tank more hits. You know.
Right. It'd be all about sort of finding that synergy between character and ability, and you'd have people, you know, it would open up the meta a lot more. Where you would say like, oh, instead of saying, I think Nash is top tier, you could say like, well, Nash with a parry is great, but Nash with I'm trying to think what Birdie's V skill is. I can't even think of it.
Is it the banana?
Yeah, like Nash with a banana is not very good.
All I want. I want every character to have the banana. I can agree with that. Okay. Do you feel that like if that were to happen, that could create complexities in terms of like making a character that simply like this character with this V trigger is simply just overpowered?
You run into that, sure, but I mean, what fighting game doesn't?
That's true. That's what patches ultimately are for, is to sort of re-establish like that fine line of balance as it.
Yeah. And Capcom said they want to do like an annual balance patch. They want to do something at the end of every year and say like, okay, we've tightened it all up. Here, you got your 6 new characters for the year, whatever, 6 to 8, whatever it is. And then at the end of the year, we're sort of like trying to smooth it all out. Because I worry that there's going to be a DLC character like Ibuki's going to come out and she's just not going to be well tested enough in the wild. And, you know, suddenly she's unstoppable.
Big risk. I was wondering if they're going to be the way that Nintendo was doing Smash, is they would release a patch when the new characters came out. And if that was going to be something, so Alex shows up and boom, everybody's tweaked slightly, you know, maybe just more damage here, more offense there, or whatever it was. And then at the end of the year, if like they needed to like throw everything together and do like one big sort of like, okay, now that everybody's around, let's do one final check kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you know if they're going to be doing any release patches with characters? Have they
I don't think, to my knowledge, they've said anything about that, about doing like minor tweaks. But I also think that if something came out that was like Bayonetta level unbalanced, that Capcom would respond to it within about a month.
Okay.
Especially because they're doing the Pro Tour now, and that's like a 10-month affair. Right. So if there's a character that's just unbalanced, they don't want them to sort of reign over 4, 5, 6 events before they have a chance to get to it.
Do you believe that if Yoshinori Ono could go into Street Fighter, he would kiss only one of the characters? And if so, which character would he kiss?
Blanca.
Okay, so Street Fighter 5.
Laura. Because she's probably been close to Blanca.
Yeah, it's the closest thing to Blanca there is. Okay. How are you feeling about the game so far? Like, are you liking the mechanics and the way it feels overall? Do you feel it's something that you will want to take the time to like get the nuances of?
It's gonna take me some time because 4 took me some time, and I think 3 took me some time. Street Fighter is one of those things that's always around for so long that by the time the new one rolls around, you have to break out of those 10-year habits and accept what the game has changed.
Right.
I think it's a great year for fighting games this year, and so I'm really excited to spend some time with Street Fighter V and try and get through it. I'm a little frustrated right now because I am playing Laura almost exclusively, and playing her, I feel like she's going to wind up at the bottom of the tier list, like maybe not in last place, but she doesn't feel as viable as a lot of the other current characters.
I like her mix-ups with her V-Trigger a lot because I do like that you can like, there's the quick commands. You know, like you can cancel out of your little kick.
Yeah.
Back and forth. And I really like trying to like get people's reads thrown off. And, you know, again, my exposure is very limited with anybody I've played with because I've played one online match. And it was M. Bison, he destroyed me. But I feel like a character like that with a lot of movement options could be really fun for messing around with things.
Yeah, and that's the kind of character that I genuinely like to play. So I'm really hopeful that I can sort of that she will turn out to be viable and that there's just something that I'm missing. I will say this, their new online system is terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. How to
Any-
use it. Even when things are working, I don't understand it.
Anything with lag, like in Street Fighter 4, if you were in a laggy match, the whole game would just run very slowly for all parties involved. It would just be like a slowed down, like quarter speed match of Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
In Street Fighter 5, if you have a laggy opponent, they're operating on frame rollback now. So instead of trying to keep both parties in sync with each other, and if one has a slow connection, then the other one just sort of gets pumped on the brakes to keep them in sync. In Street Fighter 5, they're using frame rollback so that if you're jumping in but your opponent is lagging, then it doesn't see that you're jumping in. And so what ends up happening is you're fighting a laggy opponent and they're just teleporting all around the screen.
That's scary.
Because they're just constantly doing stuff, but it's giving you all that data like in bursts.
Okay. That's not good.
It's terrible. It's really difficult to adapt to.
Okay, I can imagine. Yeah, hopefully they can get all this server stuff figured out as soon as possible and hopefully figure out the lag situation. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. Because again, my one match, but I'm curious to see how it's going to go. And that was one of your matches?
Yeah, I've had it happen to me multiple times.
Do you know if that was something that happened with netcode between the PS4 and PC? Or
I tried to keep an eye on that, and it looks like it's both sides.
Okay.
Like I've had great matches against PS4 opponents on PC. I've had great matches against PC opponents, and I've had bad matches with both.
Okay. Interesting. What do you think?
I hate lag.
Yeah, see? Lag. Yeah, you're not one of them lag fags?
I take advantage of it.
Or like I said, it'd be a
sometimes.
lag hag. Whoops.
Yeah, lag hag.
Gay for lag. It'd be a lag fag. Okay. Do you play Street Fighter at all?
No,
Have you ever? Did you like it?
it's okay.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes fighting games, when you're drunk, you just end up button mashing. Because anybody that comes over to my house only ever wants to play a fighting game
Mhm.
when they're drunk.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. See?
People just show up at my house and want to play Darkstalkers at 3 a.m. when they're drunk.
I like that.
Like strangers, like
Yes.
Sometimes, yeah, like with other
Streetwalkers.
people.
they just knock on your door and like, I heard you have got Darkstalkers.
Yeah.
Like
I'm drunk. I want to play.
Women of the night. Yeah.
because I lived kind of close to bars, so
Fair.
People-
That's true.
they're like, Jenny, this
Mhm.
is Pizza's house."
If they say Jenny, do you think they're talking about a girl donkey?
Yeah,
Okay.
You look behind yourself really quick. Where?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
a burrito. I don't remember if it's a donkey or a mule or who knows. Some type of
I'm sure somebody
mini
knows.
horse.
A baby horse.
Anyway,
Anyway, burrito.
Mini horses are adorable.
Mini horses are adorable. They taste adorable.
are they called
Yeah.
mini horses or are they ponies?
A pony, yeah,
Mini horse?
I think they're different.
Yeah,
because a pony's not a small horse. I mean, not like a baby horse, but a pony's like an actual like type of small
it's
horse.
a baby, right?
It's not a baby horse. A foal is a baby horse.
Yeah, a pony is just like a small breed of horse.
I don't even like horses. Okay, anything large that can die, I'm
Yeah,
not a fan.
That's I think everything.
Like whales, horses.
Well, see, that's the great thing about mini horses are so small they can fit inside of a large dog door. Like they're about the same size as a Great
I like
Dane.
mini horses and little horses. Nothing big. Not even like Saint Bernard.
You could fit a mini horse in a Saint Bernard.
If it can die, and I have to be responsible for burying it, I don't want anything to do
Well,
with
you
it.
could like get somebody to help you move the Saint Bernard or the whale.
It's
into,
like a phobia, like a dead horse, a dead whale, like anything large that you can't just dig a hole.
you have a
and
dead
put it in
animal
there.
phobia because you don't want to bury them.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with them if they die.
So like if some guy brought in like a
A horse?
Clydesdale
If
to your
some
house
dude-
and shot it.
If some millionaire bought me a horse, I would like run away from him because I don't want anything to do with a horse.
What if it was an immortal horse,
Like Odin's horse.
Yes.
like an Adam's horse?
And out of yeah.
I don't know. That's even worse.
An immortal horse?
You have to feed him.
Well, if it's immortal, you don't have to feed it. You don't.
Yeah, it could just starve. It's not gonna die.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Nothing will happen.
But then he'll be all bony.
I'll still live though. I mean, he might just be upset or like he might act out, but it wouldn't die, and you wouldn't have to.
Anyway, I have like a large dead animal phobia.
What is that called?
Don't buy me a horse.
Necro.
Large animal.
Mega Necro.
Death.
Yeah.
Like a death.
It's Megadeth. That's actually what they all have the same phobia.
Yeah.
They don't like when large things die. Megadeth.
Horses live, but who's dying?
Right. See? Okay.
Like I'd rather deal with a dying village of people than a dead horse.
What if that was all very large people, like Andre the Giant sized people?
That would also be awful. But animals are just like
That would be awful. Like if like each child
getting overwhelmed just thinking
just
about
think about just Andre the Giant village.
Yeah.
They could consume infinite amounts of alcohol.
How would they make it? Are they Russian? Do they have potatoes?
They're Romanian. Yeah.
Gypsies.
They're gypsies.
Romani.
Romani from Zelda.
Well, that's what they say for gypsy.
For gypsy?
Yeah, that's the word for gypsy.
Romani?
Yeah.
Who says that?
Like most Europeans. Italians.
I thought they were called pikeys.
No, Romani.
See, movies mess me up.
Snatch.
Snatch messes me up. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's a great movie. I don't like movies. I like Snatch.
Yeah.
They weren't in Italy.
Who?
They were in the UK in Snatch.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Yep.
Romani is like the European.
They were in Antwerp for the beginning, and then Benicio del Toro shot a bunch of Jewish dudes to get their diamonds.
Okay, so when I was in
And then
Ireland,
the camera went
Yeah.
weird.
Carnival.
Exciting.
and this guy was like, "Oh, are you going to the carnival?" I was like, "Aren't they a bunch of gypsies?" And the guy at the bar goes, "Yeah."
Whoa. Yeah. 48 pikeys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was more of a British than an Irish.
I was doing a Snatch quote.
Yeah, but that was more British.
But I mean, well, that's because they're British in that movie.
Yeah, I know. It's Guy Ritchie.
Right.
But I was in Ireland.
But,
And they
and
also don't like gypsies.
by Snatch quote, I mean, like, what happens, like, if when a European, like, Snatch queefs? Like,
No.
it says a line from that movie.
Oh, I thought you were like getting a Snatch appraised.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Why
How
do you-
much is this worth?
That's what the vagina looks like.
Why do you have to do that?
What do you mean?
Is Diablo's gonna dive in there?
Yeah,
Because,
exactly. Whoop. Yeah, he can't even fit.
like,
That
look at his leg.
horse Snatch is too
I
tight.
tried to fix it.
Almost.
That was pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah, whatever. I'll do it later.
He doesn't care about Diablos like I do. I'll take
No.
him. I'll take him away from you.
Nope. Child protective services for my Diablos. Okay, so interesting to see the direction that is going with Street Fighter, because I think there's a lot of really
I
great
broke it.
potentials
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of very scary variables that we do not yet know about.
It's one of those things where I'm not worried about it because I'm very confident that in a while it will be a very good game.
Yeah.
And
One of
right
those-
now, it's just sort of like a demo.
Yeah, and if somebody contacted me and said, "Hey, is Devil's Third good?" I'd say, "You're probably not going to like it. Don't buy it." Right now, if somebody says, "What do you think of Street Fighter 5?" I'll say, "I love it, but you probably shouldn't pick it up." If you are okay with just beta testing this game for the next several months, it's a good investment. It's a good practice. It's fun to see it sort of evolve. And I think I was talking with somebody on the message today. I think that's one of the fascinations that I have with it, is I love seeing the market grow. So being, you and I understand this quite well, being privileged enough to grow up in the era where the Nintendo was established and it grew and it became, and you saw successes and you saw failures, and then you move on to the next and you see successes and you see failures, and to watch the industry continuously like move forward. And then you have 3DO who tried something, then you have JVC who tried something, and you get to see Jaguar, Atari who tried something, and it's fun to see that who's going to succeed and who's going to fail. So to watch something grow from the beginning into something that's potentially amazing, or like just withers away and nothing happens, I really enjoy being there from day one.
Yeah.
And it was like part of the fascination with saying, I'll jump on this bandwagon because I don't know. And I want to see, because if it does grow, a day one commitment to this would be a really interesting, perspective contrast.
Right. I was on Street Fighter 5 when you couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And now look at it.
I bought the game when you could only unlock 2 costumes, or 2, not even that, 2,
Yeah.
2 colors or whatever. Yeah. You couldn't even. Yeah, I'm sad that I have like all these costumes that I saw in the game, but I can't get them.
Yeah. You can in a month.
Yeah, I can buy them all. Luckily, I feel that getting fight money at this point hasn't been much of an issue. We'll see ultimately how that economy ends up working, because it's too early to tell how hard it's going to be.
Yeah.
I'm already almost, I played one online match and I'm almost at enough to buy a character.
And I am not going to be surprised if these server issues and everything aren't fixed by the weekend, if the first character or so isn't free, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, if Capcom goes, here's 10,000 zenny.
Yeah.
Or 100,000 zenny, like your fight money or whatever it is. Also, what's the difference?
Fight money is earned in-game. Zenny is purchased with dollars.
Oh, okay, so it's basically just a currency exchange.
Yeah.
Okay, well, whatever. That's weird. Okay. Zenny. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, girl.
I'm not a fan of like paying money for anything in the game, like real money.
I can agree with that.
I'm not a fan.
You know who the culprit is? Horse armor.
Yep.
Horse armor. That's the thing that started all of this madness. Was they released Oblivion for the Xbox 360, and they were like, well, what if you bought this thing that you didn't need outside of the game?
Not a fan.
And it just took off. I think there is a degree of that kind of stuff which can be okay if it's handled properly. I don't go for frivolous stuff that often. It's going to depend on the game. I buy the Smash Brothers characters like Smash Brothers.
Yep.
And post-game content does it cost money to make. But there are certain things that I will consider worth my time. Horse armor I would never even consider because I have zero interest in that. But like a Mii costume that makes a shitty looking little character look like Knuckles is funny enough to me to where it's like it's part of the bundle. I'm cool with it.
I was playing Sonic Adventure last night.
Did you get all the DLC?
There's DLC for that game? Oh yeah, I see what you're doing.
Actually,
Really threw me off of that.
what DLC did they have?
They had the ability to play as your favorite. Like you can import Sonic OCs into your game and play their adventures.
Sonic 2.
Yeah.
Finally.
Did you guys know that was a thing that you're supposed to? It's like a Google game where you type in your first name and then the hedgehog, and you go to images, and the first one that pops up, that's what your Sonic character looks like.
I'm a brown Sonic is what mine was. John the Hedgehog.
Yep.
Just a brown Sonic drawn in MS Paint.
I can actually do Radon the Hedgehog, and that pulled something even.
I bet Sakura the Hedgehog is basically just like a Naruto Sonic mashup.
Radon the Hedgehog is purple with like a silver jewel in his forehead. He wears a red headband, like jean shorts, and blue and white gloves and shoes.
Sounds about right.
I have not looked up Jenny Hedgehog.
You have not looked up Jenny the Hedgehog?
No.
It's cool as Radon can actually look that up for you and then describe it to you.
I can. I'll do Sakura the Hedgehog first. It's Amy in a kimono.
Okay.
It's basically that.
Right, okay, that's fair.
All right, Jenny the Hedgehog.
The Hedgehog. Ooh, more official.
Right? This is it. This is your title.
Jenny the Hedgehog has like shaggy purple hair.
Well,
A
it's that purple hair.
It's true.
a pink tube top.
Okay.
Bicycle shorts.
Ooh.
And like a giant gold bracelet.
Sounds about right. I can see
What
it.
color is my skin?
So it's purple hair and then sort of like a almost like a clayish color, sort of like a very dim brown.
Dim brown.
Mm-hmm. Dim
with blue eyes.
Okay.
That's
Cool.
Yep. That's pretty Russian.
Is it?
Yeah.
We're all pale though.
Russians? Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the hedgehog.
Yeah.
Russian hedgehogs are that color.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Perfect.
Yeah.
I need you to say 2 words in Russian. Any 2 words. I don't care.
Privyet. Как дела? Hi, how are you?
Okay. Thank you. I'm fine. Thank you. Yeah.
You can go horror show. That's like good.
Horror show?
Horror show. It sounds like horror show,
Horror show?
but it's like horror show.
Horror show.
Yeah.
I saw Zangief yelled that when I was playing.
Yeah.
Horror show.
He said that?
Yeah.
That means
Yeah.
like
Oh, sweet. Now I'm Russian. Wow. I'm excited. Tetris.
you can't just start saying random shit to me now.
What, Tetris?
It's like Pokemon.
But well, Tetris. I mean,
I'm
that's,
gonna say Japanese shit to you now because I learned a lot when I was there.
that's fine, but Tetris is Russian. That's the most Russian word I know.
I know,
It's
but-
more Russian than, like, Moscow.
Okay, but what happens? How do you say delicious?
Oishi.
Oishi.
Mhm.
But no, they said something more. Oishi.
Oishi. You
Oishi.
can emphasize it differently.
Yeah,
You can say
oishi.
umai, which is like tasty.
Or I had a saying where I would say, I'm hungry, but it means like my stomach is empty or
Oh
something.
yeah, onaka ga ippai.
Yeah,
No,
they-
onaka ga suita.
Yeah, they liked it when I said that.
So onaka ga suita, or you can say onaka peko peko, which is like the cute way of saying it.
Yeah, I said, I'm very, very hungry.
That's cute.
Yeah,
Little Russian girl in Japan saying cute things.
they liked me. They always said kawaii, and then they would point to my face.
That's pretty cute.
It's a little invasive.
Just like right in there, just like
Yeah.
you.
They literally like grabbed my cheek.
Start rubbing your gums and getting the DNA off, and then putting sending it off to. Yeah,
Kawaii.
that's scary.
Everybody, like, they either are afraid of you or they are like in love with you there.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I noticed is that the men,
Mhm.
they're not very like chivalrous. Like they won't give up their seat on the train or anything to
No.
the girls.
No.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a weird cultural thing. They
Kinda
just
just
doesn't.
Meh.
They don't care.
Yeah.
They got their balls to protect. You know, send their nuts and keep them
They're-
warm.
Annoying.
Men, Japanese men,
Not all of them, of course not. I met some
all
very
of
nice.
them.
Met some very nice ones.
With nice balls.
I don't know.
How do you know then?
How do you know they're nice if you didn't check out their
I
balls?
don't know about their balls, but they were nice people.
So they must have had nice balls.
I wish I brought my notebook that I wrote all my Japanese stuff in that I learned.
Yeah, you could
If
practice.
you would see it, it's really funny.
I would like to see
Because you
that.
would see like the order of shit that I learned it in. It was like, please help me. What was it? Mayoimashita. What does that mean? I'm lost.
Yep.
See, if I were gonna go to Japan, the first phrase I would need to learn is, "If I eat fish, I'll die."
Oh, I had like vegetarian, but there's a thing they call vegetarian, which means it has bacon in it. No joke. And
Japan.
they told me like, don't order anything vegetarian because it has bacon in it.
Did you give them the bird?
Well, I had some way of telling them that I can't eat meat, and they didn't understand that. They thought that meant I could eat fish.
Yeah, that's an interesting sort of standard
Yeah,
with a lot of people.
yeah, I know.
I don't eat meat, but I eat fish.
But I don't eat fish.
None. Not even like
No
whale.
magic carp for me. No
Not even-
whale.
A whale's a mammal. Boo.
Oh,
I don't eat anything that has eyes and came out of the ocean.
What about
potatoes have eyes.
Potatoes.
I don't eat sweet potatoes.
Potatoes have eyes.
They have kind of eyes. They call it eyes.
Well, they're actual like eyeballs, is what they're supposed to be called.
Eyeballs are kind of gross.
Eyeballs are very gross. They're just fleshy
People
little
eat
orbs
them.
that make you see things.
You know.
If you don't have them, you can't see things. That sucks.
Yeah, you can use echolocation.
Right, but the eyeballs are like the cameras.
Yeah, you can use echolocation. True.
I couldn't. I could not use echolocation effectively at all.
When we were in
Would
Europe,
not
my
happen.
sister was sick with like bronchitis or something, so she kept on coughing.
Yeah.
But anytime I would get lost from her, she would start coughing, and it's kind of like echolocation.
That's weird.
Like
It's-
I would use it to find her.
You're piggybacking off of her echo.
Yeah, or
Okay.
she'd use it to find me.
Weird.
We would call it echolocation.
Echolocation. Echo the dolphin.
Yeah, that's a really hard game.
It's a very hard game.
It was made on a lot of LSD.
Do you have you ever beaten Echo, Michael?
I've beaten Echo Junior. I don't think I've ever beaten either of the two like main Echo games, but there really is the guy who Ed.
Begley Jr.
Yeah, Ed Baconley Jr.
Vegetarian.
That was his brainchild, right? Ed O'Neill and Ed Begley Jr. got together and made an Echo game.
Yeah, and they said it should be about newspapers and time travel.
Echo the Dolphin.
Ed Annunziata.
Okay.
He's the designer of Echo the Dolphin, and there's a lot of references in Echo to a book. I'm trying to remember the name of the book. But essentially it's a book about this like scientist's experiences taking a lot of LSD.
I did not know.
So there's a tie between psychotropic drugs and ketamine. There's ketamine. There's an article on Vice about it.
Okay.
But yeah.
Dolphins and drugs. I don't think they go together. Well, they do actually. Never mind. I was just proven wrong.
I feel like dolphins would be into drugs.
Yeah. That's the only thing that makes dolphins go. You don't eat a dolphin.
Well, they're the only animals that enjoy sex, like us. So I feel like they would also enjoy drugs.
You know who also enjoys sex?
Monkeys.
Horse.
Bonobos.
Bonobos, yeah. Bonobos, but they enjoy them with other animals,
Yeah.
like whales.
So I think they would also like drugs.
I don't like the idea of a whale crawling into a monkey's penis. That would be you'd disrupt the monkey's best interest. A monkey crawling into a whale's penis.
And just like what, like just banging around?
Exactly, kicking the sides. Yeah. Being disruptive.
It must be hard being a whale, just having things constantly going inside of your penis.
Yeah, there's all kinds of other animals.
Wasn't there that Kingdom Hearts level where you got to go inside the whale?
Yeah, Monstro.
Monstro from
Yeah, I didn't like that
Pinocchio.
that level very much.
I have a theory about Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is a good game. We can all agree on that, right?
So we'll talk about this in a second.
I haven't played. I don't know how many of them there are, but I've only played like 1 and 2.
Okay. Well, thinking of Kingdom Hearts 1, can
Yeah.
you name me all of the levels that you actually enjoyed playing?
It's been like 10 years since I played that game, but I think they were fun.
My problem.
I was the Nightmare on Elm Street. Not Elm
The Nightmare
Street.
Before Christmas. is-
For Christmas.
That would be a good
Good level.
Disney mashup game. It looked great.
Yeah. John, you seem to be harboring some secret feelings about Kingdom Hearts.
Well, this is no secret. I actually don't like playing Kingdom Hearts at all.
Okay.
I don't dislike the games. I think they're extremely well done. I think they're well developed. I think they're well made, well designed. But I don't like playing it. I will watch somebody play. I'll go through the story. I will experience the whole thing and be like, that's really cool, and I love what they've done, what they've put together. But the moment that I realized I stopped liking it is I was playing through Kingdom Hearts. I beat Kingdom Hearts 1 and I was like, yeah, it was all right. It was mostly just like I wanted to get through to see the animation,
Yeah.
to see the story, to see what happened, the characters, the interactions. I was playing the Kingdom Hearts 2, and I remember going to like the Lion King level, and I was like, oh, there's this huge
Is there
gigantic.
even I don't even remember.
Yeah, and you fight on top of this huge thing, and there's this gigantic, heartless, Velt beast kind of thing. And I remember seeing it, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be like Shadow of the Colossus. I'm so excited. I can't wait to climb this thing and kill it, right?
Hmm.
And so to get to the top of it, you just had to press triangle twice. And I was like, okay. Well, that wasn't that fun, because you just do 2 big jumps instead of climbing all the way up this guy. Okay, whatever. And I got to the very top, and I was fighting, I don't know if it was like Scar or like some other thing. And I remember I was sitting there, mashing down, like attacking this thing, and I'm locked onto it, and I was like, wait a second. I don't know about this. And I put the controller on my leg, and I just hit X with 1 finger and beat the battle with absolutely 0 problem. And I was like, okay, this is not my kind of game. I don't, I'll see it through, I'll finish it up, I'll go to the end, but just let out a big sigh and was like, I guess that was kind of the turning point for me not liking playing them.
Yeah.
But I think that they're absolutely fantastic in execution and style, and I mean, they're gorgeous, and I respect them tremendously if somebody else is playing it with me.
Well, maybe it's supposed to be simplified for kids or something. I don't know.
And I don't discredit this. That's why I don't want to say it's a bad game. 'Cause
Yeah, I
it's
don't
not.
really know much about it other
Yeah.
than they took Final Fantasy, mixed it with Disney, and kind of
Mhm.
threw it at us.
And I think it's a fantastic idea.
And I remember in Japan, I saw some guy breakdancing to the song that they had #1. I don't know, it was the song from that game.
Simple and clean.
Yeah, some guy was breakdancing to that.
Bone Thugs and Harmony did the soundtrack for Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's the first of the month.
So yeah, I think I do. I hold a tremendous respect for those games, but I'm not interested in playing them. It's actually I won't go back and play old Silent Hills or old Resident Evils, but I'll watch them because I respect them from a lot of different levels. But I don't want to play them ever again. I will never play the classic Resident Evils again because I have no interest in playing them because I hate playing them.
I would rather play the old ones than the new ones.
I will play #6 because if I press left, he goes left, and that's literally my argument. And then if I press right, he goes right. If I press down, he goes towards the screen, and I like that.
Yeah.
See, so yeah, they're not scary games at all. They've since dropped the horror moniker entirely, but I like controlling them so much better now that it's a game I would rather play over the experience of being scared with a story that I don't think I understand. But I'll watch people playing.
Okay, what's the scariest thing ever that you've ever encountered in a video game that like scared the shit out of you when you were playing it?
It was in Silent Hill 3, easily. I can remember this moment very clearly because it was the most defining, scary moment of my life. Maybe not of my life. I don't know. Probably because I don't really get scared like by things. And this was the scariest moment of my experience playing through Silent Hill 3 with my ex-girlfriend, and she was my girlfriend at the time. So I'm sitting there in my room and it's pitch black because the way you play this game is you crank up the volume, you turn off all the lights, you make it like as atmospheric as possible, right? It's imperative that you have these conditions set to play a scary game. So in Silent Hill 3, Heather walks into, like some bathroom or whatever it is. And I remember like looking through like this gigantic, huge mirror in like the normal, regular world. And I'm looking into the background and I was like, okay, so something's kind of like in the mirror, something was coming out of like this drain, out of this pipe. And I could see it sort of like coming through into the room behind me. I couldn't see it on my screen, just in the reflection on the mirror. And I was like, this makes me feel really uneasy and I'm kind of creeped out by it. This place turning into Silent Hill, I should probably leave this room before something happens. And then I moved my character, but my reflection stayed there. And it made me feel so uncomfortable because I was like, oh, that's awful. That's not supposed to happen. There's a reflection and now everything's been thrown off. And then I looked behind me and I saw that she was asleep, completely like dead, like unconscious, like sleeping. And I felt so alone. And I was like, no, I'm isolated. Like there's no one here to watch me die. And I remember getting so upset that I put the controller on the ground and I paused it and I was shaking and I had to go up and turn on the lights because I felt so uneasy. I've never had a game do that for me before. And that was the last time I remember being unbelievably scared by a game, probably the most scared. Because it was presented in such a way that like it got me.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated it.
I used to get, I don't know why, but like, I think it was like Tomb Raider 2. The tiger, one of the tigers would always scare the shit out of me. I don't know why. Anytime it like jumped out, I was like, fuck.
It's because like you're trying to turn around and she turns around at like
really
a snail's
shitty.
pace. Yeah.
And then the tiger's like, ah!
And that's what's scary about those games is that you can't control her very well.
And
you make her
then
flip sideways.
There was this game, really random game on like PS1 called like Echo Night, where it's like a ship but full of like ghostly people. But it sounds lame, but it's actually really fucking terrifying. And the graphics are horrible, but it's like a puzzle game.
Okay.
It's really good.
Okay.
Developed by From Software.
I like those
Echo
guys.
Night.
Okay. Echo Night.
You can watch it like a Let's Play on YouTube.
I'll just do a Let's Play myself.
Yeah.
I probably won't ever do that, but
It's really scary, actually.
what about you, Radon?
It's really weird. The Seventh Guest is still to this day the scariest game that I've ever played, and it's not really like by today's standards. It's like a shitty FMV puzzle game. It's essentially Myst, but with horror aspects.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got it on Steam recently. I'm really dreading the fact that I did that. But there's like the whole premise of the game is that there's this toy maker who makes a deal with the devil so that he can make the best toys, but then all of the toys that he makes end up killing the children that play with them. He hosts a dinner party for 6 people, and they're all ghosts. When you're playing the game, this has already all happened. You're just seeing what's happened. But everyone's trying to like the goal of this dinner party is that there's a child who snuck into the house, and whoever can bring the child to the toy maker so that they can kill him will have their wish granted.
Thanks.
Yeah. And so there's like a lot of like creepy toy imagery, and there's like a children's rhyme about him that the character who plays the toy maker like screams into the camera looking at you when he first says it. And when that happened for the first time, I like forced quit the game immediately. I threw the case. Like for a long time, if I just like saw the box that the game came in, it made me feel bad.
Yeah.
That's unsettling. Yeah, that would be really uncomfortable. How old were you when that came out?
I think we got that when like I had just turned maybe 9 or 10.
Oh dang. Yeah, sounds about right.
Maybe even 11, honestly. It could have been as late as 11, but yeah.
So what, you're 2 or 3 years younger than me?
I am 31.
Okay. When did you turn 31?
3 months ago.
Okay. Okay, so I'll be 35 later this year. So I'm about 4 years old. Because I want to say, like, I remember about that time. I never played the game, so I don't know anything. But I remember that sort of era of like FMV and like weird like CG and pre-rendered stuff that was all over the place with games like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of stuff could look extra unsettling. What was the first game that ever scared you? The first game that you remember being like upset, like scared? It would definitely be like a crazy scare, but like.
For me, it would be, and it's like not even like a direct thing. Like it's not the game itself that scared me, but it would either be Super Mario Brothers or The Magic of Scheherazade because I had really weird nightmares about both of them.
Maybe like something from Resident Evil. I can't really remember.
Like the dog jumping through the window.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
It was a pretty
it's
defining
atmosphere.
moment. Mm-hmm. So Super Mario Brothers Dream.
Yeah. I dreamt that I found a way not to get to Minus World, but like World Zero.
Oh no.
And everything was like very black and like deep red and almost kind of like, I was young, so it wasn't like bloody, but it had sort of like a bloody look to it.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like really terrified by it. And like my brother was screaming at me to do something in the game because it was like really important. And I didn't want to. I think that next day I was like, I don't want to play any video games today. Like I'm just gonna.
Done.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable. So you thinking Resident Evil for you?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it more. Like the very first time, I don't know.
I was just like, yeah, it's unsettled. Echo the Dolphin actually had a moment that scared me really badly, and it wasn't like something popped out, but it's weird. I've been swimming my whole life. I swim all the time. I love swimming. I can swim around and dive and like do the whole swimming thing. I don't know. So
You're a
like
dolphin.
I'm very comfortable with water, but the idea of being like in open, deep water where something might be down there that you don't know about always makes me uncomfortable. But I've been swimming in the ocean. I've been snorkeling. I've never been scuba diving, but like we used to go to like Mexico all the time. So like I'm really used to being in like open water as well too. But it always made me sort of uncomfortable because it's so vast and so infinite, and whatever's in the water has an advantage over you because that's its home. But I remember I was playing Echo the Dolphin one day and swimming around back and forth in like these glacial caverns, and I swam down really dark, and like the background would get like darker and darker as you go down there. I remember getting sort of like to the bottom area on the screen, and I swam to the left, and as I was swimming down there, I wasn't expecting anything, and suddenly there was a blue whale, and it was huge, and I didn't expect it, and it scared me to death because I was like, my first instinct was this thing's gonna kill me because it's an enemy, because it's not me. And so I thought like I was going to die. I thought this gigantic creature was just going to get me, and I'm in the water, and I don't know what to do, and I'm not fast enough, and can I make it out? And it made me feel so awful, uncomfortable. And then Shadowgate for the NES.
Yeah, that's a creepy game.
And I think it was also a lot to do with like the way they would word things. Is I walked out into like some room and there's a skeleton standing on a frozen lake, and he's holding a key. And like if you like look at it, it describes him as having like these empty, lifeless eye sockets. And I remember thinking like staring back at you. And I remember thinking like that probably prompted some sort of connection with Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark that accompanied them.
I never got scared by those, but I did get scared by a Garfield Halloween book as a child.
That's cute.
Like it ended up actually instilling in me like a fear that I had for years. Because one of the stories was about like a TV that turned John and Odie into like zombies.
Ooh.
Like there was like how the TV channels used to like go off the air and there'd be static.
Yeah.
And so like John and Odie were watching the static, and it brainwashed them, and they were trying to like get Garfield to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And so like for a long time, like when I would go to bed, I would refuse to like look at a TV in a dark room. Like I would not look at a television screen in a dark room, and it's Garfield's fault.
Yeah. Garfield.
You know that game Adventure where it's just like literally just a text, like back in computer days?
Yeah.
And it's like you type in the command and maybe something happens.
Yeah.
Go north.
Right.
Yeah, my dad used to play that when I was a kid. It was very interesting, and I would watch him play it, and he would explain it, and you would have to map it out and everything. But it kind of freaked me out. Like it was a little scary because you don't see anything. It's just text, and it'll tell you like really disturbing things sometimes, like, oh, a bird is in a cage all alone. Like nobody's coming for the bird. or you're supposed to do something with the bird, but
Things like that are unsettling.
yeah,
It's really-
it is very unsettling.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because like it says here's the condition, and
Yeah.
you have to choose what to do. But it's like, what do I do?
Don't know what you're supposed to do. And
Yeah,
also, did you ever play those like King's Quest or like Quest for Glory?
I did.
Those were like kind of adult games, but I was playing them really young.
Very unforgiving.
And yeah, they're very unforgiving. Like if you fuck up, you're fucked.
When you don't find out till way later.
Yeah, it's
sometimes.
like, oh, I was supposed to do something with that rat.
yeah,
Like that I played that game like 3 months ago. I didn't know
Yeah.
I was supposed to do anything with the rat, or
yeah,
I was supposed to let that guy go. Or,
Yep.
It's very unforgiving, and that's a little startling and scary.
yeah. Because you don't know if any decision you make is going to have a consequence.
Yeah, you never know. Fun games.
Funko Land.
Mm.
I'm proud of you, Radon.
Oh, thanks. I
Sure.
worked really hard on that.
Well, thank you for that. Do you understand the power of Megavolt?
Yeah, I think I told you my Megavolt story.
I think so, because I think we were discussing it when I referenced this toy last time. But I can't actually remember what the story was.
I was like that I gave my brother a Valentine with him on it as a kid, and he just like had it up on a cork board for a long time.
Like he crucified him?
No, it was hung very delicately.
Oh, okay, good. So it was like a very endearing kind of like
Yeah, like when you press a flower in a book.
with Megavolt.
Yeah.
Cute. So there's something coming. Oh, the new Fire Emblem comes out this Friday.
Mm-hmm.
All the games that are coming out. And there's gonna be a lot of good stuff coming up soon. Jello is in my fridge. You don't like Jello.
I hate Jello.
Do you hate Jello Biafra?
No, well, I like his music, but I don't like him as a person.
That's fair. Love the artist, hate the art.
Yeah.
Oh, or other than this example, like love artist. Hitler.
Yeah, love the artist, hate the art.
Yeah, he's a really great. He played a lot of good folk guitar and made some really impressive.
Hitler? Wasn't he a painter?
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen any of his paintings. I mean, I've heard he does like a lot of Disney stuff because he's a big Disney fan, supposedly. I never really researched that because every time it gets brought up, I'm like, okay, I'll just believe you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I care enough about understanding what Hitler's tastes were. I know what his distastes were.
Yeah, those are well publicized.
Yeah, exactly. It's not easy to figure out what he wasn't into. He's one of those guys that's like, you know, nobody's impressed by the things that you don't like, man. Poor guy. And I'm going to say that in the regard of not like, you know, what a pity that he died,
Mm-hmm.
but what a pity that, like, someone could be driven to the point where they could follow through upon that.
Yeah.
What has to go on in your life to be okay with any of those things? It's like, happy people don't do that.
No.
You know, people who have found some sort of inner peace don't do that. What could it have been deep down, way in there, conditioned into him from the get-go, that made those choices acceptable?
I think he was really upset that that HBO's Carnival got canceled after 2 seasons.
Oh yeah, he was really into that. He liked the midget.
Yeah.
Well, you know, like, you don't take it out on somebody else. That's not fair. Maybe he didn't like that Oswald was player 2 in Epic Mickey 2. He wanted Oswald to be player 1. That's probably it, though.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, that's okay. So who'd win in a fight between Goofy and
Hitler.
Hitler?
Does he have the entire German army, or is it just Hitler? Like, is it like a fist fight?
We'll just say Hitler.
I think Goofy would win. I've seen him box in those, like.
Because Hitler doesn't have the dip either.
Yeah. Wait, Goofy chews?
Yeah. Goofy has tobacco and Hitler has no tobacco.
Hitler
Goofy
didn't like smoking.
he didn't?
No, he was like, he never smoked or drank. It's one of his things.
Well, we have that in common.
It's always unfortunate when you learn the things that you and Hitler would have agreed on.
He was vegetarian.
Yeah, he didn't like hurting animals.
Okay.
I wonder if I can like Google what do I have in common with Hitler. Is that a safe thing to Google?
I'm sure it's an interesting thing to examine.
A lot of people though in that time, they were attracted to his, magnetism,
He's
his
charismatic.
bravo.
Yeah.
It's very confident.
That's
he
how you
had
get
a
those people.
message.
Mhm.
A lot of people didn't really like interpret it as like, oh shit, he's like murdering everybody.
Yeah.
Like even Ingmar Bergman, the famous like Swedish director,
Mhm.
he went to Germany and he actually like admitted now that he's older, he's like, yeah, I was like super into Hitler as a youth. Like I thought he was amazing.
Yeah, because the draw that he had,
Yeah,
that's what
a
convinced
lot
people.
of people were like that.
That's
and,
crazy. That's crazy. But see, and what sucks, and I was having a discussion about this with some friends about a week ago, is that he ruined the toothbrush mustache
Yeah.
forever.
Yep. It's never making a comeback.
Like I could, I wanted to try it out one day, but I was like, that's a bad idea because somebody else messed it up for me.
This is what I propose. Do the opposite. Do the inverse toothbrush.
This actually came up right after, so I'm gonna have to try that and see if I can like balance it out.
And if someone like talks about it, say, "Hey, I'm trying to be the least like Hitler I can be."
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I was gonna say my hair color and my eye color like does that, but actually it doesn't.
No.
Also, brown hair. Well, it's not working out.
No.
He's he messed up a lot of things.
Yeah, the name Adolf.
Yeah, the name Hitler.
Yeah.
Like
It would have been really terrible to like be his cousin.
he put a lot of things on the one-way ticket to like don't ever do that. Because like you think about like leaders and guys like Genghis Khan or other people who like pioneered like religious wars and things like that. And you look back at them going, you go, okay, that's an interesting historical event. But like whenever somebody goes, oh, I grew a Genghis Khan beard, that's like, that's pretty cool. He was a Mongolian guy, right?
Yeah.
And like you don't really like the stigma is not the same. He ruined it, Jenny. Ruined it.
Damn it, Hitler.
I know. That's what his dad said when he found out. So Hitler. Oh, he's not here. I was waiting for him to respond, but
Oh, am I Hitler? I don't want to.
I don't think you are.
Oh, okay.
Very different than him. But like I was trying to look at one of like the seance things to see if he
Oh yeah.
ask him some questions.
If we could get Hitler on the show, I think that would be a big get for us.
I have a lot of questions. Like, do you like Jell-O?
Oh, I hope he does.
You hope he does. That's mean.
Well, I don't want to have anything in common with Hitler. I want to you should be able to play 6 Degrees of Separation with Hitler and lose.
Yeah. Okay. So what if he really likes like peppercorn burgers from Chili's?
Oh, those are pretty good.
Yeah.
Are they vegetarian?
No. Well, yeah. You can get them vegetarian, and no, I think they are vegetarian, aren't they? The ground peppercorn burger.
I have no idea. Yeah.
They make you. Yeah, they are because they make you fart, and it smells like Hitler
Ew.
killed something. So he has more in common with the fart from a hamburger. That's too bad. I want a burrito.
I want food.
I don't want food. I want a little donkey.
Oh,
Yeah,
I want to cook a little donkey.
like just like a tiny portion of donkey, or like a
No, I want to take like a whole live donkey and it's very small and put it in my oven and just set it. So
Jell-O has like horse product in it, the gelatin.
Mhm.
It's kind of gross.
horse hair product.
I don't know if it's hair.
That's a hair product, like whatever gel they use.
I know, but I think they grind up horse bones.
Well, yeah, I think they do, but
yeah, Jell-O is not vegetarian,
Yeah. I probably shouldn't eat it if I wanted to.
or it's not vegan. I don't know. No, it's not vegetarian. Yeah.
What it is, but it's not that good.
it's what?
What?
Neither of you got. Well, you didn't like my Jell-O.
Yeah, your Jell-O is gross.
It's Kool-Aid Jell-O.
But it's kind of disgusting that they kill horses just for that goo.
What if the horse willingly offers? I mean, I'm sure it doesn't, but like if
I
there's
just
one
don't
horse,
like big dead animals over here.
what if it was a pony?
Even then,
It would only make a little bit of jello.
I don't even like Saint Bernard.
Saint Bernard Jello.
Ah.
You can't get
I'm
away.
really not into big animals.
The Kool-Aid Jello sounds interesting to me because whenever I have like sugar-free Kool-Aid or sugar-free Gatorade,
Mhm.
it tastes like Jello to me.
That's fair.
I kind of want.
So I feel like they could just put the name Kool-Aid on Jello and not change anything. But like, no, it's Kool-Aid Jello.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened with this stuff because
it didn't taste like Jello.
yeah, I mean, you know, I like it because it's weird. It reminds me of being sick as a kid, which I know isn't good, but like the best part about being sick as a kid was I got to have like crackers and ginger ale and Jello.
Really,
I don't like ginger ale.
You didn't like know Jello existed?
No, I didn't know that was like a thing to do when you're sick.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah,
Why?
you have like a stomach bug.
because it's like 90% water.
It just like kills the
It's
virus.
mostly just moisture and
Is
keeping
it-
yourself hydrated.
It's a magic attack.
It actually you cast Firaga.
It is green.
It's a green, yeah. So I guess it casts Bio.
Yeah.
All right, Radon, are you excited for Final Fantasy 15?
I am. I don't know what I'm going to play it on, but actually, I do know what I'm going to play it on because Erin wants to get a new console with her tax return, and so we have to decide on an Xbox One or PS4.
What are you thinking?
If it was me, I would go PS. Well, I would probably go PS4,
Yeah, it's a pretty good bet.
but it's her,
Oh,
and I think she like. I don't want her to get it. Like she's talking about getting it for us because we're at that point in our relationship now.
Yeah.
But the reason that she's getting it primarily is that she wants to try Fallout 4.
okay. She's probably
And
not getting that version on the on the PS4 than the Xbox One.
yeah,
Because like normally I don't like talk about contrast and compare because they're usually so similar. But I watched some stuff on the Xbox One version and it looks like it has a pretty hefty chunk of issues unless they patched that.
okay.
So like a lot of frame rate stuff that looked like embarrassing from what I saw. So I don't know. It's a couple things that I had noticed, but I tend to go for Xbox One generally because I like the controller more. But the PS4 at this point I feel has a better selection on the horizon.
Yeah. I was
Last
hoping
Guardian.
that Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to be a PlayStation exclusive, but it's not. Because I feel like that would have made the decision very easy for her.
Totally.
But like the games she's interested in are like Elder Scrolls and Fallout and Kingdom Hearts, and those it doesn't seem like it matters either way what she gets, honestly.
Yeah. Though if she gets a PS4, you can play Grand Theft Auto with us.
Yeah. I know you want me to do that.
I do. A lot, Michael.
So speaking of Final Fantasy, so the 7 remake,
Yes.
if they plan on releasing it like disc by disc, isn't that kind of borderline, Street Fighter zone where it comes to like you're not getting the complete game
Well,
and you're betting on that they do a good job or
what I do is I consider that to be basically like you're watching Star Wars episodes 4, 5, and 6. They're all separate entities as part of like a larger story. Granted, 7 already has a whole story that's been implemented and put out there, but the reason they said they're doing it is because the amount of production they want to put into each section of the game allows them to examine much further into like each section. So like disc 1, essentially, you're in Midgar, right?
Mhm.
So what they're doing is they're really embellishing upon the city of Midgar and the people there and the relationships they have and everything that goes on. So it's not just you're going to Wall Market or Don Corneo's mansion or like the shitty playground or whatever. Like you get to explore more and talk to more people and see more and become more in Midgar. You get
Yeah.
invested more into it.
But since you return there later on like disc 3 and
Mhm.
whatnot, aren't they kind of risking fucking something up with the continuity and stuff since they don't know what they're gonna do on disc 3, things like that?
I have a feeling they're probably mapping everything out pretty extensively, and they have been for some time. So I wouldn't be too worried about it, to be totally honest.
I'm worried about
Yeah,
it. But that's my
would,
job.
I would be worried about it. That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm not particularly worried about the game at this point. Like, I know enough of the story to not really care, but I would like it if they fixed a lot of the problems that are already there with the story. So as far as I'm concerned, the story can only get better because I don't think it's very good. So that's why I'm
Or
excited.
it felt like it was incomplete. Well, most people thought it was.
Yeah,
So-
it's very poorly translated, and there's a bunch of weird continuity that just didn't flow. So I think
But that's kind of the charm of it. Like you go talk to somebody, it's all scrambled Japanese.
Yeah, Yeah, it was interesting. Coming from translations that I felt were a lot more in depth, I wanted more from that game,
Sure.
from previous games. So, I'm excited for the 7 remake because I think it's a good chance at redemption. Plus, they can add in stuff from Crisis Core and stuff from Dirge of Cerberus and stuff from Advent Children, even though I think
I've kind of ignored all of the spin-offs. So.
it's sort of, but it fleshes out the universe more to give it
Yeah.
more genuine character. Better or worse or neutral. At least it's more substance. What do you think, Radon? You excited for the 7 remake?
I am.
No.
I think of it so I don't. To me, it's separate. It's not Final Fantasy VII. It's just more Final Fantasy VII.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Crisis Core. I like it, but I think it had issues. I think the same can be said for Dirge of Cerberus. So, is it going to be good? Probably. Are people going to be upset? Definitely.
Mhm.
If I enjoy it, I enjoy it. Like, I hope that they retain enough of like the musical cues and things like that it feels familiar, but that at the same time it surprises me.
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm hoping for, is just sort of like a new perspective on something we're already comfortable with.
So when you buy it, though, you're going to just play disc 1. But what happens if you finish it too fast before disc 2 comes out?
Then I wait for disc 2. That's the same thing that happens with lots of sequels.
Yeah, but then don't you feel the need to replay it because you kind of like forgot where you left off and where
Yeah.
your characters were?
Not with a legacy game like that I'm already familiar with. It was a brand new game, potentially, but even so, I've never had that problem with previous games.
Yeah.
So, because they also said that what they wanted to do is they said each disc, like each episode or chapter, I guess as they're calling it, they said they want each one of those to feel as big enough as like a standalone Final Fantasy on its own. They said they want to go into the game so much for each episode that you're not dissatisfied like with only like a 15-hour long episode 1.
Mhm.
Like they said they want this to be like a 50-hour long
Disc 1.
experience. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, well, that sounds pretty.
I feel like I would get so into it and then I would drop it once I like get to the point where I'm like, all right, well, I'm about to kind of go into disc 2 territory right here.
Mhm.
And then I would forget how I had my character set up and what I was strategizing.
It'll probably keep all those things the same. There might even be like sort of like a segue, element at the beginning of the game to
Maybe
pull you
disc
in.
2 is totally like, cut
Yeah.
off from disc 1.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious how they're going to handle this. It's a very interesting maneuver. I understand why and I actually respect it, but it will be interesting to see how they handle it because I don't know. That is a fair concern.
What if they did that with Final Fantasy VI?
Episodic?
Yeah, like if they had like a World of Balance and World of Ruin discs.
I think it wouldn't be like a gripe, but it would be like an incredible anticipation for after everything happens, in the World of Balance, and as that ends, I would want to see the World of Shadow immediately to know, because I want to Ruin, because I want to know what's going on. I want to see it. I want to like experience it so quickly. But I think if you leave cliffhangers off at the right spot, you can build a really incredible amount of anticipation. Like all these TV shows, Breaking Bad and Walking Dead, and all those really capitalize on like a 6-month gap or 3-4 month gap to like get people excited about the next.
But then they rewatched that last season because I can't remember everything.
Sure, and I think there'll be some sort of like hey, last time on Final Fantasy VII Disc 1 or whatever. Like Cloud was dressing up as a chick
Recap.
and putting his dick in Don Corneo's butt.
Well, all you really need to do is wait. If that's something you're genuinely worried about, you mitigate that problem by simply waiting.
That's true. You just wait till all
I
3
know.
discs are out, then you're good.
But then nobody wants to wait, do they?
People
I
say, huh?
I like waiting.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I'd like to know like what does this game look like when it's done? What does all the DLC add to it? What does the player base look like? Did they fix problems? Like, is there more coming? I don't really get excited anymore by being an early adopter.
To like release it episodically to see how people are going to take it. I wonder how they would charge for it
That's a good question also. I don't know.
because you're kind of only getting a quarter of the game.
A quarter of the whole game, but if
Yeah.
you're getting a much more fleshed out, fuller experience, with each episode.
I'm sure
What's
most
that worth?
fanboys
Yeah.
would gladly pay full price for just this one anyway.
It's funny because they'll bitch and they'll still buy
Yeah.
Nope.
it. So that's what's going to happen is like, you can complain all you want, but you're still just going to buy it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm curious.
For me, Square is just one of those companies where like people will say like, "Oh, that game wasn't very good," and I will respond with, "Yeah, by their standards." but I genuinely like almost everything they put out. Like there are very few games in their library that I just like, oh, like not that game. Mm-mm.
What are some that you didn't like? Some Square games?
Now you put me on the spot.
Good.
Dawn of Mana. I'd like to give it more time, but I really did not enjoy that game.
Mana really took a very interesting turn after the first one here.
Yeah.
So,
What else? King's Knight is not my favorite.
no, it's not very good.
But that I also treat that sort of differently, it's not.
Yeah. It's NES, not Final Fantasy Square.
Didn't they release some game like The Bodyguard or something?
The Bouncer. I like The Bouncer. I don't think it's that bad.
It was
It's fine.
okay.
Yeah, it's a beat 'em up. You can't expect much from those, and
It has replayability because you're supposed to like go through again, but that's
Mhm.
about it.
it was a great looking game. It was a great looking launch game.
Yeah.
Absolutely
It
gorgeous.
gave you a lot of hope. Like, yeah, it's not a giant epic RPG, but if this is what they can make their PS2 games look like,
yeah, right.
when they get to Final Fantasy, I'm ready for that.
Yeah. And they did. I loved 10. I was so hooked on that game. I played the poop out of 10.
I don't know. What are some Square games that you don't like?
Me?
Yeah.
So I would say I generally like all the Final Fantasies. 13, I really tried. And like it's one of those games that I don't simply sit neutral with. I really just don't like it.
Okay.
That hurts me because I don't like not liking it, but I've tried so many times and I feel disdain. I feel betrayed. No, I don't like using that word because it's like, what they set out to do is none of my business. That's their story to tell, and they told it in a vehicle they thought was appropriate. If it happened to not be to my tastes, okay, it's not their fault. They did something I didn't like because plenty of people I know liked it, and that's fine. But I couldn't get into 13.
Me too.
I like the Bushido blades. I like pretty much everything on the PlayStation that they did.
What about Parasite Eve? Was really cool. The first one. Second one was kind of weird.
I pretty much just watched a friend play that, so I didn't play it myself, but I enjoyed watching him play.
I like the first one. The second one was this.
I like them both. I think that it was a very big shift.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It moved to almost like a survival horror kind of game. I have the third one now. I haven't started playing it yet though.
Is there a third one?
That's for the PSP.
Third birthday.
Yep.
That's right. Never played that one.
It was a cool series. I really liked the first one. It was interesting.
Mhm.
And I guess they were supposed to use. I read somewhere that the New York, areas were supposed to be kind of like Final Fantasy VIII, actually, and then they kind of switched gears
Mm.
and put that with Parasite Eve.
Hmm.
Yeah, because Final Fantasy VIII was supposed to be urban.
That's cool.
I loved 8.
I do too. It's my favorite Final Fantasy.
They both
Wow,
have,
dude.
they both have the same dimensions and stuff. All the areas
Yeah.
and the characters.
Yeah. I just want to hang out with Squall.
Well, we have him over there.
I know we're gonna hang out later.
He's probably not very fun to hang out with.
Well, he warms up a bit. It takes
I like quiet people.
saving your girlfriend from outer space death to really start talking to people, but he didn't. For Danny DeAngelis, he did not. I watched him play, and Renault was just on her way, and then she just.
Mister.
It's
It happens sometimes for some reason. I don't know.
funny because you just.
Like sometimes it won't go.
Well, it's funny.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh because that's not supposed to happen. But I like when a game can give you control over a really important scene like that, and you can fuck it up.
What happens when you don't do it though? Is this game over?
Yeah.
Or does it give you a different cutscene where she runs out of breath? I think it might give you a different
Is there a
cutscene.
cutscene? I don't remember,
Yeah, I think
actually.
there is.
But yeah, you just try again.
Yeah, I think there is a little bonus cutscene.
It's watching her die.
Yeah, she runs out of life support.
Squall watches his girlfriend just die in front of him in beautifully rendered CGI.
Diablos didn't do anything to help, did he?
No, he was.
He was in outer space.
Well, the problem is because there was no gravity there, he was like, I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah.
You can give it F.
Woo.
Okay, well, it's been a pretty solid 2 hours of podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's getting time to wrap up. I'm gonna go get a small donkey. There's a Taco Cabana right up there. So
You know what sounds good? Kiva juice.
that's not. Yeah, I wish they weren't closed. They close at 8.
Hmm.
Cuba juice is really good.
I have at Walmart they sell their Smooths.
At Walmart?
Yeah, in like a bag. Maybe that's Jamba Juice. Same thing.
But they don't have lime me. That's my favorite. Lime me is what I was drinking when Michael Radon made me laugh. I spit it all over my steering wheel in the car.
Ew.
Yeah, we were driving to my store and I just exploded Skiba juice all over the steering wheel.
Yeah.
We're talking about Looney Tunes in the GameCube. Because
Yep.
a character was like an Elmer Fudd, a guy who wasn't Elmer Fudd, but he was.
Yeah, it's a security guard that looks almost exactly like Elmer Fudd, but is not Elmer Fudd. And when he catches you, he picks you up off the ground and like chokes you out.
That's not a good security system. I don't know. I guess it would stop people, right?
Yeah.
Getting choked, choking a bunny.
I should stream that game for you someday.
Yeah, that needs to happen. I found another capture card in AverMedia that has AV and S-video inputs, so now I can stream my 64 stuff from here.
Nice.
I'm excited, so I can. Yeah, there's a bunch of crap I want to play that I don't have access to on other systems.
Like Daikatana.
Like Daikatana, I cannot play that game any other way. I refuse to play the PC version. It's not pure enough to me. I was talking to somebody recently, and I think it was my buddy Adrian Martin Del Campo. And as a kid, there were certain games that he didn't have because he didn't have the money for them. So he used to look at the pictures in Nintendo Power and pretend he was playing them. But sometimes it was for 3D games like Chameleon Twist, and he would say, well, if I were at this level, I would put his tongue around this side and I would jump over here. And he sort of would map out what he would do if he were playing the game. And I
used to do that too, actually, with the N64.
I never did it with the 64 game, but I used to do it with side-scrolling games like Dragon's Lair and stuff.
Yeah, when we got our 64, my brother bought it, and it was the first console we'd ever had that didn't have a pack-in game. And my brother at the time only had enough money for the system and not enough money for a game. So we had to wait 2 weeks for him to get paid again before he could pick up Mario. But we got a brochure at Target that had a list of 20 games. And it was an interesting brochure too, because a lot of those games ended up not coming out. It had Mario Kart R listed and Kirby Air Ride, whatever it was called back then.
Yeah.
And it just had 3 screenshots of each game. And I would hold the controller and be like, okay, what would it be like to play Pilot Wings? What would it be like to play GoldenEye? What would it be like to play Mario Kart? And I would sort of just fantasize about that for 2 weeks.
It's exciting, man. I love it. I love the imagination that had to go into anticipation for a game.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of your most anticipated games when you were growing up?
Oh, so many fucking games.
So many.
I was poor.
So many games.
But luckily my brother would get us mod chips and burn them.
Oh, okay,
We
that's
could.
easy solution.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we were poor. So that helped a lot.
That's like an Aladdin solution.
But then you don't appreciate it as much. I remember saving up for Final Fantasy IX
Mhm.
because it came out that Christmas
Mm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I remember being so pumped for that one.
that was really exciting.
Yeah. The opening cinema.
And
Garnet.
it wasn't disappointing.
I loved 9. With what?
I was going to say the Coca-Cola commercial was what I saw first.
Right. Yeah, I remember seeing that on IGN. It probably took me half a day to download that thing so I could watch it. I was so excited. All right. Well, this is it.
Michael Jackson.
This is the new Michael Jackson album just came out. This is it. Okay. Thank you guys for watching.
Yep. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Go to screwthetruth.com where you can find this episode, other episodes of the same show, Amcast, Sinking Ship, Film Toxication, all kinds of podcasts made by our friends and friends of our friends and us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Everybody gets involved. That's all there is to it. Oh, you can go to Gamers Anonymous, my store.
Yeah, go to the store and buy a game.
Yeah, thank you. Buy some Game Boy games. Are on sale right now.
Yeah. I have I'm gonna be trading in 2 copies of Tetris next time I drop some stuff off for you guys, so that's exciting. You guys the hardest to find Game Boy game of all time.
Yeah, we never see it. I've never heard of it. Exclusive. Okay. Well, yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate everybody watching. Check out garetro.com, facebook.com/gamersanonymous. and check out our community page called the GA Retro Community Page on Facebook for all the latest updates. And you can also go to facebook.com/Cyberzone Podcast to see more of this.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll learn everything, ever.
Jenny, do you have anything to plug?
Diablos.
Looks like bacon.
He does. It looks delicious. If only you could eat him.
I could. Oh.
Yeah.
He's missing a leg. It might be illegal.
To eat him when he's missing a leg?
Yeah.
That's fair. Poor guy. All right. Thank you, guys. And until next week. Oh, I talked to my friend Adri from Warner Brothers, and she is willing to be on the podcast, I think, next week.
Excellent.
So, yeah, she said it was she's busy tonight, but next week she was doing it. She said she got a little bit nervous thinking about it, so she's going to study up and listen to some of her other stuff. And I was like, yeah, you don't need to be worried at all.
Yeah, like you listen to one episode, like a quarter of one episode, and you're like, oh, no.
Yeah, you're just going to hang your head and be like, fuck, what are they?
Now I'm nervous about what I got myself into.
Yeah, exactly. So, cool. We'll see you guys next week on
The
Cyber
Egg.
Egg. Thank you, everybody.